Welcome to Full Scope, a podcast designed to analyze the games that we love, headlines of music, and the movies we can't forget. I'm your host, Wendell Burns. I'm my counterpart, Savon Morris. How's it going, man?
Beautiful intro, bro. Beautiful.
Beautiful intro. I had a question for you, though. I had a question, man. I've been hearing this the last few days about what's the cutoff point for saying Happy New Year's. To you, what is the cutoff point? Like, how long can you say Happy New Year's? Is it to the end of January, the third week? Like,
First after the first week, there's no it's just a normal
it's
another
over.
year. Yeah, happy like first week, happy new year. After that it's just another year, 2024. Just remember to put 4 instead of 3, ladies and gentlemen.
That's
Cuz
people will forget that. People will forget 2023. It's like, nah, not anymore.
I've been doing that since high school, bro, like forgetting what year it is and putting the last year. But yeah, first 1 week, happy
That's
new year.
it.
There's
1 week.
there's nothing else you should say happy new year to.
Because a couple of days
That's
ago, I was out at a restaurant with my mom and somebody that we saw. They said Happy New Year, and I'm like, man, we're like it's January 11th now. Like we're still saying Happy New Year. Okay, all right, I'll roll with it.
okay. Just say nice to see
Just
you.
say
Like,
nice to see you.
what are we doing?
Man, but we have a lot of topics to get into for this one. Obviously, some college football topics, a lot of coaching changes we're going to get into. Obviously, some thoughts on the NBA. Going to get into some album reviews in the second half. We're going to do a review of Maestro, but start off with Nick Saban's retirement announcement and also, other coaches departing. This news dropped this past Wednesday from, one of college football's coaching greats who won 7 national championships and made Alabama a powerhouse again, also won a title at LSU. But man, this was a really shocking announcement because obviously he's 72, he's getting older, but they had just lost to Michigan. They were on the brink of another championship, and and I saw that interview had with Reese Davis about him talking about the grind of the season really wearing on him wanting it to take
Yeah.
things slower for in the later years of his life and career. What did you think about the announcement, and also just the legacy that he left for college football in Alabama?
Man, getting the notification from ESPN and just like realizing that a dynasty creating fella who's been in every facet of football is just said he was going to retire. And you can hate Alabama all you want. You can dislike Nick Saban, but what he's done for the state of the game, state of college football, and what he was able to build coming from the Miami Dolphins and going to this college
Yeah,
team who had no identity before he got there. It's always used to be Bear Bryant this, Bear Bryant this. Um, but what he was able to like implement and create in some short years and just go on a run
yeah,
and win so many championships. I think he has 7 national championships, 1 with LSU, 6 with
Alabama.
Alabama, and the countless draft picks that come from Alabama, the development of players mentally, physically, emotionally it's so incredible what they was able to do at the University of Alabama because of Nick Saban and so many coaches that have come
That
from
came
the
from that tree.
tutelage from Nick Saban. So every facet of the game he has touched. I think he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest, college football coach that ever graced the field, man.
Yeah.
From draft pick standpoint, from coaches, from national championships, from development high school students into grown men,
Hmm.
and take them to the next level if they go to the NFL or not. But what he was able to do, man, his tenure at Alabama was amazing, and I always had respect for Nick Saban. And even meeting him one time, I was like, oh, I thought he was taller.
You met Nick Saban.
Yeah, well, he recruited Luchez, so it
Oh,
was
okay.
yeah, Luchez. We graduated together, we play on the same team. It was out of there or Florida. Nick Saban actually came to Pine Forest High School to recruit Luchez personally,
Wow.
and obviously we were in coach office and was able to I didn't take a picture. A lot of people took pictures, but he was just a nice guy, but he
Yeah.
knew football a lot, and he's intimidating a little bit. Because he reminds me of my coach, but more obviously had more status than Coach Jerry Pollard. But it was like, yeah, those guys are intimidating because how much they love football, the knowledge they have of football, and just the amount of hours they put into preparation to get players ready. But now he was a great guy, but just what he's done for Alabama, man, there's no other coach that's going to even come close. I think he surpassed Bear Bryant, and I'm not an Alabama fan. I'm not gonna, I can say this. A lot of Alabama fans
Yeah.
won't say it, but I think from a standpoint of developing players and coaches, I think there's no other those better than Nick Saban.
Not at all. Yeah, absolutely, man. He is that standard. He set that new standard in college football. Everybody has to follow it now. And I think a lot of times with these coaches, um, we're so used to seeing them year after year that we're like, we
Yeah.
don't think about the end. We never think about
No.
the end. You know what I mean? We
No.
just think about, okay, September rolls around, we're gonna see them again. They're gonna make another run for it. But
Yeah.
it's just like when a coach comes to that decision, obviously he said, I didn't want to just think about myself. I always like having a 5-year plan. And then he said,
Right.
when I'm making commitment to these recruits and these families, I always want them to have a 5-year window and just like knowing, hey, I'm gonna be here a long time. Do you think that was another thing that kind of came to his mind about, hey, I'm getting older, I don't want to keep making these long term commitments, and I can't really stay around?
Yeah, that's exactly what he said in the interview. He did prior to him announcing his retirement. He
Yeah,
was just like that, and also he was like, I'm tired of not being honest. I can't keep saying I'm going to be around." And Reggie Bush, great football player, but sometimes he just talks out the side of his neck about that the NI deal and all these things got to Nick Saban. He couldn't handle it, so he retired. That's asinine, to be completely honest with you, because it was still a top 5
yeah,
college football team every single year, NIL or no NIL. They
mm,
got some of the top recruits. So that was just asinine. But I do think the preparation it took, you could tell like he was drained this season. I don't think
yes,
he had to develop players like this in a while, because obviously when you're a dynasty, players are wanting to come and play for you, and are willing to sit, and they already have this high amount of talent, and you don't have to really develop them as much as prior to you being a powerhouse. But
right.
you could tell that quarterback situation took him through the
That took a lot out of him.
defense, the mentality. Yeah, it took a lot on him. So I agree. Like, I'm at this age, it's not a health thing, but it's just mentally, can I continue to do this over and over and over? He has nothing left to prove. We always like to say, what is there to prove for
What can
Nick
you do?
Saban?
Yeah.
Like, he's checked all facets of football. Uh, it's just yeah, it's just weird. But I do think him being able to be around and implement and develop these players each year at that age, I don't think he can do it anymore. And obviously, he said that himself.
And they just recently yesterday made a announcement about Kalen DeBoer being the new coach. How do you
Yeah.
are you surprised that they
Yes.
made because I was talking to somebody about it the other day, like, man, they made the announcement so quick, and usually like they go through this like process. Like, how surprising to you was that they made that announcement just so quick the week of Saban's retirement?
Well, I'm pretty sure they were in talks. They had talks with the months. He said, I'm pretty sure Nick Saban was very, honest. It was like, because I think I forgot the reporter's name. He's a big guy, big time guy in media. He was like, I talked to him about it 3 years ago. So I'm pretty sure that talk was coming up and it was continuous. Like, okay, who do we have in mind? I'm pretty sure they had a laundry list. Obviously, they like Norvell, but Norvell got the big contract with Florida State to be able to stay.
Right.
Lanning put his flag down with Oregon. There's probably some other players, pieces, or coaches that they wanted, but I
Mm,
think developing players in the NIL era, I
yeah.
think he was the best fit. What he did with Washington, I think it was 2-3 short years, and take
Mhm.
him to the national championship and be able to do what he did. I think that's what Alabama is looking for. They're looking for a head coach who can come in, recruit well, which he can, and
Right.
develop players fast enough to be able to still be a contender. And I think they got what they wanted. And I think both parties involved, because
Yeah,
being a head
they're gonna be
coach for
happy.
yeah, but it's a lot now. I'm telling you, once he gets into that office and sits
Yes.
down and realize what Nick Saban had to do for so many years, it's going to get overwhelming. But I think he's perfect for the job.
Yeah, absolutely. And now getting to analysis for Michigan's national championship win versus Washington. Michigan won the national title 34-13. Blake Corum ran for 134 yards, scored 2 touchdowns. Savon is happy, he's sipping his drink. He's like, I told you guys. JJ McCarthy had a good performance, 140 yards and ran for 31, and is now 27-1 as a starter for Michigan. And this was a game where I felt as though, especially through the first half, I felt as though it should have been a much bigger lead for Michigan. Thought they were playing much
Yes.
better than Washington, but they couldn't like break
Hmm.
away. Then in the fourth quarter, that's when they really just took off, separated themselves. What did you think about this game, and also just the fact that Michael Penix, they brought pressure that made him look not like the same quarterback that he usually looked like?
So when we talked about this prior in the podcast, I said two things was going to happen. One, they're going to run the ball really well, and they're going to get after Michael Penix Jr. And
Yeah,
they're going to highlight how bad this offense is. And hats off to Michael Penix Jr. because he gets the ball out super quick, and that has been saving this offensive line from embarrassment all season. He
yeah,
gets the ball out so extremely quick. It reminds me of
lightning
Tom
speed.
Brady. Yeah.
Yep, I was about to
Reminds me
say
of
that.
Tom. Yeah, reminds me of Tom Brady. Gets it out quick, knows where he wants to go. Already has the check down or scanning through. He goes through his progressions really fast. And I think that's a highlight to be a NFL quarterback. But those things are the difference makers. He
Yeah,
hasn't been pressured as much. They don't like to run him as much, so he's going to stand in a pocket, and then they're going to get opportunities to hit him, pressure him, or do a couple things. And they did a lot of man zone, a lot
yeah,
of big throws missed as well. And I think that comes with him being rattled, not being able to set his feet, be confident, and throw
mhm,
most of those throws. So it was I think the pressure really made a difference in this game. And then you look at the running game for Michigan. I knew that was going to be a factor. I didn't think it was going to be that quickly. That was going to happen that quickly, but being able to have that patient run and offensive lineman, Michigan's offense being able to push
right.
and the play calling was a lot better from Alabama. The run plays were better. The pass calling was better. And again, JJ didn't make many mistakes. But now I'm thinking JJ is not ready for the NFL.
Yeah, this
He's
game
not ready for the
this game
NFL.
showed me like this guy is
He's
not one of
not ready
those
for the
ones.
NFL.
He's not one of those ones.
He's not an
He's
NFL
gonna fit for
quarterback.
college football. It's good for college football, but for NFL, you can tell
Yeah.
the guys, especially in these big games, like I was not. It was not an impressive performance at all. It was just a decent
It's not.
performance. He did what he had to, I mean, just to get the
But
win, but for to like get to that next stage and that next level,
yeah,
did not show us a lot.
he did what he was supposed to do as a college quarterback who's big moments, game manage. That's what
Yeah,
he does. That's what JJ's been doing since he's with Michigan, and he did his job. But to be able to set yourself apart from Caleb Williams, Michael Pick
right.
Jr., those guys, you have to have those big numbers, make those throws, go through progression. I just don't think he's ready for the NFL. I do think he's capable of making great throws. It was one throw he zipped it, led the receiver, made a big play. I think it was like a 35 gain, but he has that potential, but he doesn't show it enough. Maybe if he's put into situation in the NFL, if he gets drafted probably fifth or sixth round, I think he's a
Right.
fifth or sixth round quarterback, then maybe he can, show that in progression in a different system than Michigan's, but not for right now. I don't see him being an NFL quarterback starting.
How much did Michael Penix hurt his draft stock though? Because I think I mean, he had a rough performance. I mean, it wasn't like as bad as McCarthy hurt his stock. Because I think with Penix, he just didn't. Coaches want to see it. Scouts want to see, hey, how do you handle pressure? How can you handle
Yeah,
that for the next stage? He was missing throws that he normally makes, like that
yeah,
even that fourth down one where the guy was wide open, overthrows him. They showed the sideline cam to the coordinators. They're going crazy because they're like, he makes that all the time, but in
yeah.
the big game he doesn't make that. Like, how much did he hurt his draft stock to you?
I don't think he hurt it that much. Just taking into account of what Michigan was able to do this season of rushing and passer in the previous game that had 6 sacks. This is and then this Washington offense is not great at all. It was Michael Penix Jr.
He made them look amazing.
Look amazing,
Yeah,
decisive, getting the ball out of his hand, being accurate, being able to and the play calling as well, getting the ball out of his hands fast, helping the offense so they don't have to block that long. And you
right.
see when they were down a distance and behind the sticks or behind in points, they had to throw a lot. And then that's where Michigan was able to rush the passer and get some pressure on him. But I don't think it hurt his draft stock much. I do think he's an NFL quarterback. He has those mechanics. And then one thing I think all scouts look at right now for Michael, he gets the ball out quick. And a lot of these rookie quarterbacks or some veteran quarterbacks hold the ball. Look at Jalen Hurts holding the ball way too long. And don't you do that. Holding the ball way too long in certain situations, get the ball in his hands. I think scouts are more so looking at that. Obviously, if you're getting rushed, you're pressured. Obviously, that they look at that too, but they're not.
Right.
I don't think his draft stock went down much. I don't think so at all. Of what he's has accomplished this season, I do
Yeah,
think it showed.
the totality of
Yeah,
the
the
season.
totality of it
Yeah.
all. I think he's still set where he is.
Definitely. And another thing before we move on, Jim Harbaugh, that's obviously a storyline there because, he finally wins the championship at Michigan, beat Ohio State. I think this was the second or third straight year they beat Ohio State. And that's obviously something when you
Hmm.
do that at Michigan, like
Yeah,
you're checking boxes, as we like to
yeah.
say, you're really checking boxes there. Like, what do you think his next move is going to be? Do you think he's going to go to the NFL? Because the Chargers have been mentioned, the Bears have been mentioned. Um, I think he makes that move to the NFL. I don't see him staying in college. Like how do you see him making his next move?
I know last year he was playing with the thought of going to the Chargers,
Yeah,
and then there was some talk about him even trying to go to the Broncos. But I
right.
think he should stay with Michigan. I think his style of coaching is outdated for the NFL. I think he's in the business of developing players, and I think he should stay with Michigan and create a dynasty there because there's nothing for you in the NFL.
Be the next Alabama.
Yeah, next Alabama, next Clemson,
Yeah,
the USC at some point they were a dynasty. Create a dynasty at Michigan that never has been in
ever.
Michigan.
Yeah,
Create that, recruit you another 5-star quarterback. Start getting that stabilized there.
yeah.
Obviously, 3 years in a row beating Ohio State. He was in the college football playoffs last year, came up short. You won it this year. Stay there. It's nothing for you in the NFL. You're gonna go coach some grown man who make $1 million, or you want to coach some players, some young players that you can develop
Do you
who
want to coach
make
Justin
millions of
Herbert?
dollars.
Do you want to
Yeah,
coach Justin Herbert? I think that's
right.
he likes coaching those good quarterbacks. Justin Herbert is unless Bill Belichick wants the Justin Herbert. Like, I
I
mean,
don't know,
with
man.
somebody.
I don't think he should leave Michigan. I think he's fine where he's at. Not he said like you say he get to sit at the big boy table with his dad and his
Yeah.
brother. Yeah, at the kiddie table anymore. I just don't think there's anything for him in the NFL. You had your stint with the San Francisco 49ers, went to the Super Bowl, lost to a great Ravens defense team, great defensive team. I don't think there's nothing for him in NFL to prove or to look at. Start a dynasty. Do in the NIL era, that's incredible to do. Start a dynasty there and just make Michigan continue to be great and implement what you've been doing for the past 4 or 5 years. There's nothing for him in the NFL.
You don't think he wants to just forget this whole sign stealing controversy and be like, "Hey, I'm done with college."
He got a ring. He got a
That's
ring
true.
from it. All the adversity they faced this season, stealing signs, whatever, NIL, whatever the case, they still won the national championship.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they got the job done.
What is enticing you to go to the NFL? You're making the same amount of money. The players are making the same amount of money. You get to develop. Yeah, I don't see the eye candy for the NFL for my college football coach. I just won a national championship.
Yeah. Definitely. And now getting to the NFL with the Bills winning the AFC East and other Week 18 takeaways. Buffalo won 21-14 in Miami. Josh Allen threw for 359 yards, 2 touchdown passes. Also had 3 turnovers in Miami territory. But the Bills were
Mhm.
5-5 in mid-November and really faced long odds to get into the postseason. Then they just went on this run. And they're second second in the AFC, won the AFC East. I mean, this really was they beat the teams they had to beat. Had a lot of big time performances. Did how much did it surprise you that they were able to go on this run, win the AFC East, and also, what Miami didn't do to be able to get the home field?
So one, Tyreek Hill was hurt. Two, Tua is not like that. And again, and I say this about Brock Purdy as well. I will keep saying it until it's continued revealed. Tua has a lot of weapons around him, and he's being gifted this amount of talent, and we're giving him accolades for doing what he's supposed to do with that many talented wide receivers and running backs and tight ends. And then once he doesn't utilize them correctly, it's shown what type of quarterback he is. Same thing with Brock Purdy. But anywho,
Oh gosh, can't wait till next week.
Buffalo.
Can't wait till next week. Super Bowl run
Okay.
starting.
Okay. You really think they're going to the Super Bowl,
I
Wellington?
do.
It's crazy. But you have green on right now, though. So just say it, pal.
Contradiction. Should have worn my red. Man.
Should have worn red today. But we talked about this throughout the season. What the Bills need to do to turn this around, and it starts with Josh Allen.
Yeah.
How they were successful his rookie season, sophomore season, where he's extending plays, he's not playing hero ball, he's not forcing it, the running game is helping, and he's doing the bare minimum. When you try to make Josh Allen do more than he should, that's when you start losing, and then the defense is playing better on the back end. That's what they've been doing. Him extending plays when he first got in the league, they didn't think he was 6'5", 225, 230. Thought he was a pocket passer. Then he started highlight reels, hopping over people, extending plays, throwing on the run. That's where he's good at. That's when the offense starts moving.
That 13 run he had, man.
Yeah.
He likes the contact, though. He likes the contact.
And that's where he should be, instead of him being a complete pocket passer, trying to throw it down, try to force throws, try to throw people open. Trying to throw people open is okay, only at certain moments. Don't play hero ball, and that's what he hasn't been doing. He's been playing smart football. They're moving it. Running game is working with Cook, and then he's extending plays and they're helping the offensive line out. I think that's why they're there. They're starting to get back to the basics, like we talked about them doing it throughout the season, getting back to the basics, and you're going to win ball games. Now you just won the AFC East. Beautiful, out of Miami, who was hot the entire season. And then now, I mean, they're still kind of hot. It's still kind of hot, 11-6, but stick to the base. Yeah.
It's not going to be how we're playing tonight.
It's cold, baby. It's cold. Man. But it said, "Baby, it's cold outside."
Maybe it's cold outside. Yeah, that's the Kansas City vibes for tonight.
I'm not playing in that. Excuse me, sir.
I'll watch it on Peacock and enjoy it. I'll enjoy it. I'll enjoy it.
That's too cold, man.
And now getting into most intriguing wild card game. Obviously, Cleveland and Houston are already playing now, and we got the Kansas City Miami game tonight. Also, Rams-Lions is a really intriguing one because Matthew Stafford coming back to Detroit, Jared Goff playing his former team. I think that's going to be a really interesting game. Just those two storylines mashing.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think is going to be the most intriguing wildcard game? Obviously, your Packers are back in it, so I know you're going to be glued to the screen when they play.
Oh, for sure. Tomorrow, at 4:30. No, I'm looking at Philly Buccaneers.
Those Eagles. Fly, no. Eagles, fly.
Nah, I would go Pack go, but AJ Brown is out. Deleted all his Twitter, took all his Philadelphia content. He doesn't believe they can beat the Buccaneers because he'll come back if they beat the Buccaneers. He's lost all hope. This offense has lost all hope. Defense still playing strong in certain moments. Philly has lost their thunder. But you know what? It's playoffs. They're going to come back. And I feel like this is so dramatic that he's just
listeners, you hear this? He's getting emotional.
No, I'm not getting emotional. Philly is going to beat the Buccaneers. But I say this is my intriguing game because Buccaneers, for the last 4 games, have played lights out. Baker Mayfield drunk something. I don't know if it's his dip that he's been chewing on since week 10 that's giving him eagle powers, no pun intended. And they winning look juices. Really, they're winning football games.
Winning
defense,
winning.
Oh, that's the winning juice. Hope Brock Purdy has that winning juice.
Brock, keep drinking the winning juice. We're going to Super Bowl. We're going to the Super Bowl.
I never asked this. Who is your football team? Who is your NFL team? I don't think I ever asked this.
Patriots. Then
what are you talking about?
Then when Brady left, I was like, oh goodness, who do I root for?
Maybe this information has been put in the back of my brain, but I've never thought you were a Patriots fan.
I was the biggest ever since 2007 because I didn't have a team up to that point. But 2007 when they went on that 16-0 run, I was like.
Oh,
I was a front runner.
Say it ain't so, Willow. Say it ain't so, bro.
And college basketball, Duke through and through. Then Mike Krzyzewski left. I'm still a Duke fan. Still a Blue Devil. But that was because Tyler was a big Duke fan. I just stuck with them. But
right, yeah. Okay. And then now you're a 49ers advocate. Okay. That makes perfect sense.
That makes perfect sense.
Brock Purdy. But no, I do like the Rams. I do like the Rams in the Lions game, not just because of the storylines, because now what they love to do with the Lions offense is run the football. And then the Lions, the Rams defense have played lights out these
Yeah.
past 3 games trying to get back into the playoff hunt. And now they're here they are. So in the trenches, I think this is gonna be one in the trenches, and who can get some takeaways. And I think both teams, and I think Micah said this when he was on a podcast, that Detroit don't have the experience, and I don't think that's going to play a role. I think they understand the moment. I think they understand what they have to do to win a ball game, and they adjust well at halftime. So I don't think the lack of experience is going to play a role for them playing the Rams, who have won a Super Bowl in the past 4 years. So I don't think it'll play a role, but I think it's going to be one in the trenches who can get some takeaways, who have the ball last.
I'm going to be
And
honest. I don't think the 49ers want to see the Rams. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be objective. I don't think the 49ers want to see the I think that's a team that actually can scare the 49ers. Because Sean McVay, he's offensive mastermind just like Kyle Shanahan is. Matthew Stafford can win it. That's the one team I would say I would get a little nervous.
you must have forgot about Green Bay Packers, bro. We're winning the Super Bowl, bro.
Now you're talking crazy.
You
Now
are
you're talking crazy. The Cowboys are going to score at least 35 points tomorrow, man. At least 35.
Get out of here, bro. You're crazy. We're going to beat the Dallas Cowgirls.
Cowgirls got their skirts on.
Detroit is going to beat the Rams, right?
The Rams
Philly's going to beat Tampa.
I do have Philly beating Tampa, then they'll get blown out in the second round. They'll get knocked out.
If we get the 49ers, when we beat Dallas and we get the 49ers, we're going to beat them.
Listeners, I just want to say this. If they win San Francisco, if they beat San Francisco, he is going to be insufferable the week after. I'm gonna have to call him.
I've been right. Well, it's it. I've been right.
I can't record.
I've been right, bro. I've been right. I have a gut feeling they mess around and let us get into the playoffs.
You really think they're going to upset Dallas tomorrow? Seriously?
For sure.
You're being serious with that?
For sure, bro. Okay. Bro. What Dak Prescott loves to do is play action. They're not going to run the ball with Pollard.
More than likely, no. Yeah. It's going to be heavy play action.
He's going to have to step back there and stand in the pocket. And Dak does not like to run. We're going to get after him. They're going to get behind the sticks because they cannot run the football consistently enough with Pollard. They're going to try to do a bunch of screen plays and try to do play action. They're not going to be able to do that. That's my gut feeling. And I think that defense is going to make too many mistakes with Bland and all those guys. Yeah, they can get after the ball, but we can still run the football on them. You can run the football on the Dallas Cowboys. Now, if you get behind the distance, they can rush the passer, and with Dexter Lawrence and Parsons and all these guys that get out the football. But I think we've seen that secondary make too many mistakes in big games and even regular games. I'm not convinced that they can beat us. And I'm convinced we can beat the 49ers.
Only team you're scared of seeing is the Rams. That's it.
Why are you saying we? Why are you saying we? Just said you was a Patriots fan. Oh, Wellington.
Only team that the 49ers are scared of seeing.
Are you a 49ers fan?
I'm not a 49ers fan. I'm just saying I've never seen a team that I'm just so sure of that's going to make the Super Bowl.
Oh, you speaking French now.
I'm so sure of.
You speaking French now, bro. We.
You speaking we like.
Wow. Well, let me find out. But I've been right. So I have a gut feeling.
Who you got for Dolphins Chiefs?
Dolphins Chiefs. Chiefs going to win that one. Tua.
I think so.
The moment's too big for Tua.
Bill. I got Bills beating the Steelers. I think they'll win that game.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the quarterback play is going to hard steal it.
I just had to think that.
You try to roll that in? You say 35 what?
24. 35-24. What you got? Come on.
It's going to be a 2017 type game. It's not going to be a high scoring game.
They score a lot of points at home. But
Wellington.
this will be to be continued.
Wellington.
We got a Cowboys fan. We got a Cowboys fan coming on for the next episode. So we're
before we move on, we have the record against them of how many times we play.
That is true. That is true.
We beat them all the time. Playoffs, regular season doesn't. No,
Mr. A-Rod.
So, I mean, he was our quarterback for 50 years. Yeah, Jordan Love is first year as a starter. He's in the playoffs.
That's impressive, man. That's highly impressive. Definitely.
A-Rod didn't do that.
You did not. Yeah.
Brett didn't do that. Did Westcom do that? Did Bart do it? I think Bart did, but that was a different time. That was like in the 30s. Yeah, that was a different era.
I love how we're so dismissive of the 30s. Oh, the roaring 20s.
That was Lombardi, though. Even though they were great. That was Lombardi, though. They were great, though. But definitely. Different style of play.
And before we move on, obviously the news of Bill Belichick leaving New England has been a major headline. Pete Carroll exiting. What have been your other thoughts on the other coaching departures and the Mayo being the new New England coach and just kind of new changes that are happening with coaching inside the NFL?
I love the Mayo hire just because he's familiar. Yeah. He understands what
within the system.
Being consistent with a Patriot should be and how you run an organization, because I think he played 8 seasons and all of them were with the Patriots, and now he was the inside linebacker coach for 4 or 5 years. So I love that pick. And I think he's going to try to bring that defense of presence back, because the Patriots defense used to be like the strength. They never had a top wide receiver. Kevin Falk was the running back. I mean, they never had besides Randy Moss, but Brown don't count. That was just later in his career, but they never had the big time wide receivers. Their defense, oh my God, Tyler already. Oh my goodness, Seymour. Their defense is always stacked. And I think hopefully he could bring back the glory days of the Patriots defense. But now I always thought Bill Belichick was immune to firing. The amount of success he was able to bring, doesn't matter if it was Tom Brady's doing or whatever. He was the head coach. He gets most of the glory of starting his dynasty, winning all those Super Bowls and going to those Super Bowls.
Yeah.
And I thought he was immune. I thought him and Robert Kraft was going to be, to the one of them died. I mean, that sounds terrible, but that's what I thought, bro. I thought he was, if any head coach was immune.
Go that long. Honestly, go that long.
It was Bill. With their
success in the dynasty, yeah, for sure.
They must have had some fiery meetings for Robert Kraft was like, okay, bro, I just don't think, Bill, you can do it without Tom, or I don't think you can do it anymore. So
Kraft was always loyal to Tom. He was always loyal to Tom. And I think, and I really think he was, because I think Belichick was like, with that Garoppolo move, Belichick was saying, hey, let's move on from Tom quicker than we want to. But Tom, I think the last couple of years, Brady and Belichick were kind of at odds. I don't think they were the same chemistry.
Oh, for sure. And obviously show him, moving on and then winning. That's unheard of for a quarterback to go to another team and then the next season
you
win a Super Bowl.
I still to this day think that was one of Brady's most motivating years, because he really wanted to set a record straight. Hey, I want to show them I can win even without them. The first year too.
And then from ESPN to NFL Network through podcasts across the nation, everybody said Tom Brady was done. He can't throw as hard as he used to. He's not accurate anymore. The same thing they did to Peyton Manning. And then the next year, Peyton Manning just went crazy and won the Super Bowl. So it's extremely funny the amount of things they say about these older quarterbacks. I mean, that's the lay of the land. That's the narrative you have to create, because they're older, they can't do the same thing they used to. And then Tom Brady be able to go to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers out of all teams, who haven't been to the Super Bowl since was it like when John Gruden, Derek Brooks, shout out to Derek Brooks, all those guys. Mm-hmm. And Warren Sapp, man, shout out to Warren Sapp, one of the greatest defensive linemen ever to do it. And to be able to go to Tampa Bay Buccaneers out of all teams and lead them. Obviously, you have Mike Evans, but outside of that, they didn't have no big time weapons. Leonard Fournette was
such an accomplishment.
Such an accomplishment. But But
And
I just
to
thought
be
he
able
was
to play it
annoying.
and to be able to play the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay, like of all, it was everything is
Yeah,
worked
that
out.
was just
That was crazy.
that was scripted, and it was COVID. Like it was like right before COVID.
COVID
Yeah,
Definitely. And now transitioning to NBA and the news of John Morant being out for the season. It was announced this past Monday night that John would undergo a season-ending surgery on his right shoulder. This is expected to be fully recovered for the start of the 2024-25 season. They were 6-3 when he got back in the lineup, and obviously this is such a you know tough news for the Grizzlies
yeah.
because when you have a guy who really is the center of what they do, he showed his importance when he came back in, had the game winner against New Orleans, his first game back, everything he was doing for them. We were even talking about it the last episode. Can they go on a run with him to get into the postseason? Because like
Yeah.
they started off rough, but like they were winning a lot of games. They were getting back into that groove, and now it's he's done for the year. Man, what are your thoughts on this for Memphis, and also just how this pushes them back another season?
What is bad for basketball?
Yeah,
Because, like I said, I think he could be the face of the NBA once LeBron James hangs it up, and I think he has that talent. And if he just comes together with some other little things here and there, I think he could be the face of basketball. But I think it hits you because a lot of people got excited that Ja was back. You know, colleagues, other players were excited that he was back, and then he showed how valuable he was as a player and as a teammate. And for him to be a season-ending injury after being suspended for a lot of time, I think that's incredible. That's insane, bro.
yeah,
You can't write this up. And injuries are a part of the game. I hope it doesn't spark a avalanche of injuries, and then he's plagued. And I want to cross my fingers. I'm not superstitious or anything, but I don't want his career to be like Brandon Roy's or Greg Oden or all these guys that were extremely
Brandon Roy
great
was one
and
of my
good.
favorites. One of my favorites, man.
He was supposed to be he was supposed to be a Hall of Famer. Derrick Rose is another one plaguing injuries, and I think they have a similar style of game. It's just I hope this is not an avalanche of
I just want to put a plug
injuries.
in, listeners. If you have not watched Brandon Roy
Oh
highlights,
my
do
goodness,
yourself a
please
favor
do.
and go. Do yourself
Please
a favor
do.
and go look back because he was one of the most
Oh.
special players I had ever seen. Man,
Forget about Dame time. Forget about
it was
Dame time at this
Brandon
point.
Roy time, man.
Brandon Roy
It
was
was
so
Brandon Roy time.
fire, and he wasn't like it wasn't flashy.
It wasn't
It
flashy. He just got it done.
He just got it done. He's one of the blue collar workers. He's gonna give you 30. He's gonna be a great facilitator. He's gonna play defense. He could jump out the gym. He's light skinned.
Oh, wow. Pull a light skin card.
He wasn't emotional.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Wasn't in his feelings.
Yeah, none of that. He didn't do a diss record. He didn't try to do music. He didn't try to rap. He just played basketball. He got the short end of the stick.
Never was in a wheelchair. Somebody on the barbershop last night.
Jimmy!
They were having a Drake argument. They're like, man, I can't respect Drake because he was in a wheelchair.
He was an actor, bro.
I mean, he was an actor, so I mean, whatever.
That's funny. That is funny. Speaking of, we always get to Drake, bro. Yaz and Bay.
Yes, let's talk about it.
You saw it?
I saw it. I was going to talk about it.
I thought that was a perfect explanation. I don't think Drake is hip hop. Like, you know what hip hop is. These artists that we're going to talk about later are hip hop. That's the definition of hip hop. The remnants of hip hop. I think Drake is pop with a mixture. Hey, that was funny with that's a lot of skews. That was funny, bro. That's pretty good. A lot of skews.
I want to say this though. I want to say this for context. Y'all seen, but he recently had an interview, and he said Drake's music is pop and is compatible with shopping at Target. But now I do want to say this. I understand what he's mentioning and what he's talking about because look, Drake has a lot of audiences that like his music. There are some audiences that don't even know Drake raps. Probably they just know him as just like the hit guy because they just know they listen to the radio hits. You know what I mean? They don't really listen to the I'm talking like the really like casual listeners. Yeah, everybody, most everybody knows that he raps. But this is the thing though. The only issue I have with it, the OGs always mention him in this tone of like they never credit the fact that he's one of the best rappers we've ever had. They always go straight to man, he makes this pop music. He's just like commercial. I'm like,
Yeah.
this guy just dropped an EP where he was rapping, but
Rapping,
that
rapping,
never gets
rapping.
mentioned. That's the only issue I have with it. I know what he's coming from,
Yeah.
but it's just still a
I
little off kilter to me.
I don't think Mos was saying that he wasn't a good rapper, but to be categorized as hip hop, it's I think back in the day, most of those guys wasn't doing multiple genres at once and then
Fair.
stamping themselves, I'm a rapper or I'm a hip hop guy. So I think he was saying like he does great music, but he's not you can't stamp him hip hop. Because if you hear hip hop, you wouldn't say if you go listen to Drake's catalog, you wouldn't say that's hip hop. I think that's what he was trying to portray. Because I do think most of the old heads do give Drake his flowers. Like Drake does a lot of stuff. He's versatile, but to say that he's hip hop, I think he's more pop. His genre is more pop than hip hop. He goes pop first and then hip hop.
So do you think in terms of his legacy, do you think Drake will be remembered more so as one of the greatest artists ever, or
Yes.
yeah,
Don't
just the
even
greatest
finish that.
artist? Yeah,
Greatest artist, not rapper because he does so much.
yeah.
Because you can't just like pinpoint one thing that Drake does. Like he's not, I want to say everywhere. He's so versatile that he could do most of his albums have so much on it. You can't say that's a hip hop album. You
Because for
obviously
all the dogs was really a mix. Like when you add the scary hours part to it, that is a whole mix of so many different sounds.
yes,
Like
and
that's
that's
really what he
his.
does. Like when more life,
Mm-hmm,
we're talking about more life. That was a playlist for all the dogs was an album. I think a lot of times he's getting to the point where he's like, man, I got so many audiences to cater
mm-hmm.
to. I am
Yes,
going to show you I can rap, but I'm also going to show
yes,
you I'm going to got the R&B tracks. I got the
yes.
hype tracks. I got the even like the Rich Baby. That track is great because
Straight for a
it's you
certain
know what I mean.
demographic.
But people
Yeah.
love that song because they know what audience it fits for. So I think that's the genius of
Yes.
Drake. He knows what audiences to cater to. Because I don't know a lot of artists, a lot of rappers who've had to cater to this many audiences. I don't really know that he's in
Yes.
a exclusive list when it comes to that.
For sure. And that's why he's not that's why he didn't consider him as hip hop. I don't think
I
he's
get that.
taking away from what he does. I think it was more so like, but
So
he
you don't
does a
think it was a
lot.
shot? You don't think it was a shot?
No, 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 no,
Okay.
no, 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 no. I because the laughing, I don't think he was just like, man, I don't want to. I don't think it was like as blatant as DMX. DMX really didn't. He liked him for He didn't like him for personal reasons because he was trying to do stuff with Aaliyah's music and
Yeah.
catalog or whatever. And I think that's why he took it more personal. I think with Mos Def, I think it was more him saying you can't categorize him just hip hop because most of hip hop guys are only categorized by hip hop. Their
Right.
genre is hip hop. So when Drake does so many things, you can't say, "Oh yeah, he a hip hop guy. He a rapper. He a MC." No, that boy sing, that boy do dance hall, that boy do pop, that boy do whatever. He
Dance
does
albums.
so
Yeah, the dance albums.
yeah, he does so many things, so you just can't categorize him as hip hop. But I didn't think it was a shot though. Cause yeah.
You know what? I will say this, man. Most Def, I think he had that look of like, man, I know this clip is about to go so viral. I don't even want the smoke. He had a little like,
Yeah.
why are you asking me
Yeah,
this question?
OG, man. But it was a
And I love
perfect,
most. I love most,
yeah,
but
most is so dope. But it was a perfect analogy to where
yeah,
how he said it. And then when they said that's a
because you
lot of
will hear Drake's music
skews,
in Target. You will hear Drake's music in
yes. You're
Target.
not gonna hear hip hop in there.
You're not gonna hear Kendrick
You're
in
not going
Target.
yeah, you're not gonna hear those type of
Father
artists.
Time.
You're not gonna hear Freddie Gibbs or anybody.
No,
Those are hip hop guys. Those are
yeah.
genre hip hop guys.
Definitely. And now getting to the Bucks' recent struggles and kind of ways for them to get back on track. They did have the major blowout win versus Boston, but before then there were kind of concerns about
Yeah.
they're struggling. Losing to Utah. They had lost 4 of their last 5. And their perimeter defense have been extremely vulnerable this season. They're ranked in the bottom 10 of points allowed in defensive rating. We know Milwaukee can put up points, and we know what Dame and Giannis can do. How concerning is it to you that they're kind of having these defensive struggles early? Because I did see inside the NBA crew Shaq say, I like the fact that they're having these struggles now, being second
Yeah.
in the East, but compared to March and April, this
Yeah.
this happening to them would be even more of a concern. What have kind of been your initial thoughts on the Bucks?
I don't think Lillard knows his place or his role. I think he's just trying to figure out, and a lot of people saying, yo, they're 38 game, 40, 39, 40 games in. How do you
Right.
not know where your place in your role is
Takes
on the
time.
team? It definitely takes time. 82 game season. And sometimes it takes to right after the All-Star break for players or something to start kicking in and start going for that run. But I think with Damian, I mean, the last game they had against Taylor, I think he had 21 points, 27 minutes. I think it was he shot 3 from 8. If he's going to be the 3-point guy, he has to be more consistent at shooting the 3-point. Because we know Chris Middleton, he was a 3-point guy. And he hit that shot so consistently. That's practically how they were so good, because Giannis didn't develop his game at that time to be able to shoot threes or whatever. So whatever role they give him, he has to be consistent at it. If he's just a normal point guard now and just facilitates, well, get 15 to 16 assists. If he's a 3-point guy, you got to knock down your threes. 3 from 8, I don't think that's good for Dame. I think at least if you're gonna shoot that many, you at least got to make 6 or 5 of those. Be over 500. So, and then I think the only highlight point I got from the not Buccaneers, look at there, the Milwaukee Bucks,
yeah.
is Bobby Portis. Bobby coming off the bench, bro. He 28 points 3 games ago coming off the bench. Bug eye Bobby Portis, bro. How is that the highlight of this team?
Man.
Him getting buckets. He gets the most buckets off the bench than anybody else.
He gets to it. Man.
So I'm still not understanding what role they want Dame to play. And I think they have to figure that out. And I think once they figure it out, they'll be fine. You look at the Clippers. They're starting to figure out roles now. And they're starting to play for each other. And they're starting to assist more. They're starting to give up and move the ball a bit more. I think once the Bucks be able to solidify a couple of things, I think they'll be fine. Second in the East, happen now. You want everything to happen before the break. This is
good for now. This is good right now, January.
Now, when they come off the All-Star break, y'all better be humming.
To it. Yeah, you got to
get to it.
That's go time. Before we move on, man, Draymond Green is back.
He's about to retire.
Had one of the most. Yeah. He said it.
Go ahead.
I want to say this. That podcast episode, man, so much drama behind it. So I was about to retire. I was in the backyard. Smoke. Me and Steve Kerr were just in tears. I was in the man cave. My daughter FaceTimed me. She said, "Daddy, where are you?" I was like, this guy is trying to just drum up all the drama he can. And I'm like, Draymond, we understand. He said something about like, in my 12-game break, I was a cause of change or something. I was like, that goes to Rosetta. that goes to his. I mean, come on, man.
You blatantly put somebody like, bro, like
that's MLK. That's Malcolm X. That is not you, man. Those were the guys causing. You can't put yourself in the civil rights clause, man. Like, there's, to me, we're getting to a point with Draymond where it's just like, hey, like, do you actually realize what you were doing? We know what you're doing, but are you going to just take accountability for, hey, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm just going to be a mature player. I'm getting to that OG status in the league now. You know what I mean? Of being in the league for so many years. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on Draymond being back? And also the Warriors, loss after loss, they're struggling. And Steph said, hey, we got to make a change. If we say this way, it's just going to be insanity, and we're not going to get to where we want to be.
They should wrap this season up. But before we even get to that, Draymond, retire. Because the things that you once did for the Warriors, you're not doing anymore. You're more of a distraction than anything. Yeah. You're more of a distraction. The things you're knocking down threes, facilitating, being a defensive presence, is non-existent. It was non-existent last year. It was non-existent when y'all won the NBA Finals. Steph Curry
was killing it. Andrew Wiggins was killing it. Like, you were in single digits even when you guys won that last championship.
Yeah. Retire. You got everything you wanted. I feel like you want to be a media guy more than a basketball player.
It's time for him to go to media.
Yeah. Because one, you don't take accountability of your actions and what you're doing. Did you even say sorry to the dude?
That's the thing. Yeah. Did you even like apologize to him? Show some type of remorse.
Nothing. So all the things that we once gave you credit for, you're not doing anymore. And we expect what he said to Paul Pierce, oh, you chasing that
These guys, they don't love you like that.
That Tory, yeah, they don't love you like that. Draymond.
It's coming to Draymond
Oh,
now.
how the tables have turned, bro. If you were retired, nobody would care. Bro, I want you to stamp this when you put the TikTok and stuff.
It's like Drake said his stories about my brother. You're not Kobe Bryant to us.
Bro, if you were to retire, nobody would care. Nobody would care. We're tired of your antics. We're tired of you not contributing. You're just running around at this point. You got OG status? Yeah. But that's not good OG status.
Yeah, it's different.
If you would have retired, nobody would care. The same thing you said to Paul Pierce, the same thing we're saying to you now.
Back. That's crazy.
But to get on these Golden State Warriors, Steph got 3 more years. Clay has
use
2.
Use those years well. Don't waste his. Because he's playing at a high level. Don't waste Steph's good years. I mean that's.
Steph need to retire after 3 years. Yeah, Steph, Clay, Andrew Wiggins. You should have stayed in Toronto.
We definitely don't want Steph. At least for me, I don't want Steph to hurt that top 10 all-time status. I want that to be secure. Because man, I'm telling you, I gotta have something to say, bro. People were going at you about that Kareem pick on YouTube. They were saying, what is this guy saying? Kareem is not number 10 for that all-time top 10 list. Yeah, people were defending.
Kareem was not top 10.
No, they were saying Kareem should have been much higher. They were saying Kareem has to be much higher than 10.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they were saying Kareem has to be much higher than 10. I saw so many Kareem defense comments. I was like, sheesh, man.
That's Kareem what we want. Wellington.
Oh, no, I know that. But I was like, Kareem is one of those guys. I was like, listeners, Kareem, thank you. Thank you for agreeing with me and Micah. Kareem is that guy, man. Kareem is that guy.
I'm not taking anything from a Kareem, but this is the beauty of it. It's my opinion.
This is your response. I'm gonna step back. Savon's corner. Step back.
This is my opinion. Kareem is number 10. I didn't see that fool play.
Did you see Wilt play? Did you see Wilt play? You had Wilt at 3.
I saw highlight.
Okay.
I had Wilt at 3.
Yes, you.
I didn't have.
No.
I did not have Wilt at 3.
Go back and look at the clip.
I read a bunch of stuff about Wilt. Before it was Shaq, it was Wilt. I was a huge Wilt fan because I used to read all the books and stuff, and obviously we can watch his highlights now. But I think what he was able to do is just, and then he was more than just basketball. And I know we're just talking about basketball, but to be in the top, anywho, I don't care. Kareem Al-Jabbar is number 10. If you want to get your own podcast or talk about who in your top 10, you do so. Kareem is number 10.
Savon's corner is doubling down. The headquarters of Savon's corner were attacked, but they are still standing up. The Savon corner is still
Matter of fact, anybody in that comment section, whoever you are, you should comment that you want to be on the podcast, and we will bring you on the podcast.
Yeah, bring it on. We'll talk about it.
Yeah,
we'll talk about it.
I love it.
We have no problem bringing on people. We have no problem.
No, and you convinced me why Kareem Abdul-Jabbar should be further up in the top 10.
Open invitation.
Bring it on, baby.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Savon's corner is booming in 2024. It's booming.
This is not self-proclaimed. This is Wellington's doing with the Savon's corner.
And now getting to our first album review with McKinley Dixon's beloved Paradise Jazz. In his latest 4th album, project possesses a renewed sense of urgency and aim for shorter, captured songs. There's live instrumentation in many of the songs and a high level of focus on the subject matter. And this was a different type of album. This is one where I think the live instrumentation. I like the.
Sorry, I pressed the wrong screen and my stuff went away.
Man, I was scared. I was like,
sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
But the live instrumentation was so dope to me. I like the fact that he took a risk. A lot of times in 2023, I feel like albums were just played it safe. This felt like the same thing. To me, this was it was a good attempt to try something different. Instrumentation live with rapping, I think was a good fit for him. How did you kind of feel about this album overall, and just the difference in it?
I do think it was a risk. I do think it was different.
Yeah.
And I think, like you just said, music is so saturated. How do you stand out?
Right.
How do you be different from every other artist? And I think if this is his sound, then excuse me, kudos. But I thought it was so chaotic to where I couldn't grasp the concept of everything. So it was called Beloved Paradise Jazz. And I get the jazz part because it had a lot of jazz implementation in there. But I just thought it was so, like, the song I liked the most, and I don't know why, it was Run, Run, Run. Because it was more so not as chaotic as everything else. I thought it was, I just couldn't like
you couldn't really grab onto one thing. It was like more so like, oh, there's so many things coming at me.
Yeah, it's similar to but when I said, like, I don't know how to categorize when do you listen to her, like what type of emotions and moment you want to play her. Like, this is that type of same realm, because with this music, when do you play this? When do you like grasp and like, oh yeah, I think this will be really dope here, or like I'm just confused. It's not. This is. Don't get me wrong. This is not bad music. I love people who experiment. It's like
morning coffee shop music. It's like
Is it like right before the orchestra, the opera, or whatever? You just like, it has that jazz, or right? I don't know when you're supposed to listen to this type of music. Not saying it's bad, but it's just, if I save this, I don't know if I'm ever going to be in the mood for it.
To actually play it.
Yeah, and it's not bad. It's good. It's different. Is what we need in music, because everything is starting to become
necessary.
Redundant.
I think it's kind of necessary music today.
So now I'm trying to go and try to talk about it outside of the production, all this stuff. Like, okay, I like this. When am I supposed to play this?
Right.
Because it doesn't inflict emotion.
That's a good point. Because I think the direction was all over the place, but I was more so focused on, hey man, like this he's taking a risk. He's not playing it safe. He's not sounding like everybody else. So many artists sound like a carbon copy nowadays.
Yes.
But you're gonna have listeners like yourself or be like, hey, can I just get one thing, at least one sonic sound where this is your identity? Because we really don't know what his identity is. We kind of know that he likes a bunch of different things, but he can't stick with one thing. So I think that probably is this may be what he just does for his career, like this, like what he's comfortable with, but it may kind of hurt newer listeners, kind of like from coming in and being like, hey, I want to try out this type of music.
Yeah. Like K Tronada?
Yeah, K Tronada. Yeah.
I know when to listen to his music. When I'm feeling like I got a lot of energy after I drink like an energy drink, or like it's a good, like it's like that good you
vibes.
Know? Yeah, like you want to get pumped, you want something like this.
That K Tronada and her song, that K Tronada and her song is so good, man. Like on a summer day in spring or something, it's just like, oh yeah, Windows.
Him and Amine.
Yeah.
I still listen to that.
Yeah.
I still listen to that album, and I know exactly when I want to hear it. And I'm not saying it was not more so him doing multiple things. It's like, I like it, but I don't think it's going to get in rotation, because it doesn't inflict that emotion of like I know K Tronada, Amine. All right, when I'm hyped, when I want to hear something, when I'm in low, I use to Janae Summer, Like when I want to like, vibe out, but listen to some like airy stuff, I put on Party or whoever. Like, but this one, like even jazz, when I want to listen to jazz music, I just put straight jazz on it. Like Boney James. There's a couple of I have this playlist, a bunch of jazz music. Like I'm in the mood just to hear classical music, I'll put classical music on. But for this one, I don't know how to pinpoint what time, what emotion, what I want to listen to it to be able to say, hey, this is something you can listen to all the time.
Definitely. Yeah. And I'll get into our next review with D2X's Hotel 1105. In the rapper, Chicago rapper's second album, he addresses life crisis anxieties while still having ambition. He said in interviews before the album dropped that for this project he studied 70s classics by Marvin Gaye, Stevie Wonder, Nina Simone to emulate an all killer no filler approach. He didn't really want to add any filler tracks for this album. And I think, man, like I love his approach to this album, man. I love the soul samples. I love the hunger. He sounds super hungry. Sounds like he really wants it. I follow him on Instagram, and I see a lot of his stuff about he's going to be dropping more music, dropping more visuals to his music. So I would like to see like what his next move is. But to you overall, what stands out to you the most in this project and what he brought together?
It's hip hop. 2, concise, 10 songs. The song I analyzed the most was from Hotel 1105 with Love. There was a pitch of slowness that I've never heard from any other rapper. And it's not like Chop and Screw. And I think he just created a whole nother, I don't want to say timestamp, but just like cadence of slowness. And I really enjoyed that because I thought he was going to get redundant throughout the music.
Yeah, I was concerned about that. Yeah.
But he didn't. He switched it up. He changed it up. And then when that hit, I was like, I've never heard a rapper like, it was more so like him talking, but it wasn't talking. It was like a pitch right before it or a tone right before that West Calm of talking like we are now. Yeah. But it was so engulfed into the beat. I thought that was really creative, and I low key want to try it.
Like, that's a dope example,
right? It's a dope example because as an artist, like when I hear music and I'm like, "Yo, that's really dope," and it makes me, I'm competitive, so it makes me want to see if I can do it or I can get something similar to it. And that song really, I think that's my favorite song on the album. And it wasn't like he was like spinning crazy bars. It was just like he did something different within hip hop. Like I thought it was really dope. I think he has a lot of potential, and I love his cover art. It was really dope.
So dope.
10 songs, yeah, man. You just put me on somebody new. Once again, give Wellington his flowers.
It's funny because I follow him on Instagram, and I had listened to the project, but I had listened to it in a while because a couple months ago I just got this random notification that hey, D2X followed you. I was like, why is he following me? And so I was like,
he followed you?
Yeah, he follows me on Instagram. He just randomly followed me. So I was like, has he been listening to the podcast or something? But I revisited the album. And I was like, man, like this, I had to get this album another spin because I listened to it when it first came out. But I was kind of distracted because a lot of other music came out. But when I revisited it for this week, I was like, man, this is original. He knows his direction, and big ups. Keep doing what you're doing because he's on a good path. He's on a good
hip hop, baby.
Definitely. And now getting to our next review with Coast Contra's The Old Way mixtape. In this EP, it has a soulful hip hop sound with R&B influences. And in terms of just pure rapping and something different, they offer that. You are giving the shaking your head.
That's approval.
Yes, definitely, man. Because man, I recently got put onto them, and bro, it's so interesting because they are so pure in what they are doing. And the third song about when the AO track when he was talking about, hey, like, you know, hip hop's almost dying, like we're still here for it, we don't want it to die. They really just sound like hip hop purists that just love the genre and they know what they want to do. They have their own YouTube page where they have just incredible freestyles. They do a bunch of crazy stuff,
see man. Them on Facebook.
But what were your thoughts on this EP and just, you know, the direction in it? Because man, this is one I've been having on repeat.
I can't remember his name. It's his voice, his style, and I don't know if you saw this video. He was the one talking about how he got set up by a girl and he almost died, got beat up, he got jumped or whatever.
Oh yeah,
his storytelling is so amazing, bro. and the way they echo the like it's
Yes,
like
I
the
love
old
that.
school, like bro,
Gives you
like
the old
it
school
brings back
vibe.
it brings back so many like memories of listening to like my pops listening to that type of music,
Yeah.
and it's just like and I'm jumping like this and then jumping, yeah, bro, it's
Yes.
crazy. So this was really dope. I love the first song.
You start off
That's
AP.
how you, yeah. I can't even get it out, but it's that's how you.
That's how you.
Nah, I was really excited when I saw it. I was like, "Oh yeah, I know these guys. They be
Yeah.
killing their freestyles and on their Facebook pages and stuff." So it's good that there's a group. Once again, there's not many groups.
That still does
Like I
this.
mean, Tribe Called Quest. I mean, like it's so many like rap groups back in the day. Like there was like a bunch of them splitting around the corner. You had a rap group everywhere. The last rap group I can think of is Pivot Game, and I don't hear them doing anything
I don't hear them
anymore.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's good that these guys are coming and getting on the scene and creating like real hip hop and then
Yeah.
having bars. And I think it's beautiful. Like 5 songs, nice EP. Obviously, it got saved, and then it was they covered. I forgot what song that was. Wait, yes, this I think this is Tribe Called Quest song.
Yes.
Q-Tip. Because I'm a huge Q-Tip fan. That boy, it's just like the vernacular. His voice is so crazy. And I thought that was really dope. Like if you really gonna do it, if you really gonna use that
Go
type of
all in.
beat, and they did. They did not disappoint. And I think every song hit. And now I want to hear like a full project.
How do you think a full project would sound for them?
Ooh, it's gonna have to
Doesn't
be
have some interludes.
conceptual.
Gonna have some interludes in it. I think they would definitely
Got
add
to.
interludes.
And then the concept has to be on steroids because it's hip hop. Um, I think it would be dope. No more than 12 songs
Right.
for that type
Yeah.
of album. Cause and then I want to see them at least do not one commercial song, but just like a up tempo song that was with a nice hook.
Hmm. Simple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just something simple. Cause I mean, you don't have to go crazy with it, but just something simple. I think it'd be dope though. I
You
think it
think
have a
they
lot of
studied?
potential.
You think out of all the groups, hip hop groups, the Tribe Called Quest is probably the one that they studied the most?
Had to.
Yeah.
Had to. Cause I think out of all the groups, I think they were one of the most prominent
Right.
to me, anyways. There's a bunch of there's a bunch of rap groups,
So
man.
many,
But I think
man.
when lyrical and bar heavy, I think there's bar none. I mean, obviously you got Method Man and Red Man, but they're a group, but they wasn't a
They
group.
really weren't a group.
They used their name as the group.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like an
Come on,
actual group
y'all.
group. Like obviously you got Wu Tang and it was
Uh-huh.
a bunch of guys, but I don't know. Wu Tang had a similar style they stuck to. Tribe Called Quest, Quest really were versatile and was able to do so much within hip hop and find different angles of hip hop. Were not going outside of being pop or being this and that, but they were
Yeah. Definitely.
excuse me.
And now getting to our last review of Dixon's Friends. In this single from 2023, the song's about a tumultuous relationship, but still being unfazed. Dixon expresses self-assurance and a carefree attitude towards life experiences. And I really like this track because it's Dixon to me is an artist. Ever since 2021, I've been listening to him nonstop. He's definitely an artist I feel as though is progressing. He started off with the short EPs, then came with a full body project in 2022, and I like what he's doing. I like the soundscape. I think he knows what his sound is.
Mhm.
Knows the mellow feel that he can tap into, and he's continuing to do that. How did you kind of feel about this track overall?
Dope track. It was actually start of an EP, Lovers and Friends EP that he dropped last year. Only
Was
thing I
that a
didn't like
mix? Was that a mix of like some of his past tracks, The Lovers and Friends? Did he add? Yeah,
two
two
of
of
them
them.
was
Okay.
only one and Day Off. I was like, you cheating. You should just
Yeah,
had
that
three.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
tap
should just
three.
had 3 songs on there. But now Friends was really dope. I thought it was a nice vibe. He didn't do too
Yeah.
much. I thought it was very simple, but it hit. I do think it was a single song to me.
I
I
think
thought
so
it
too.
was a single song. It was really dope. It was really nice, and then you can chill. And then he's so versatile within the R&B and soul. I think he could type top. Oh my goodness, tap in,
Tap in,
tap
yeah.
tap in to pop and all these other alternate R&B and all these other sounds and genres. But no, I thought it was really dope. This has been on repeat,
Oh, for sure.
and then the EP I've been listening to for a couple of weeks now. So yeah. You
He's
put me
on
on
it,
him
man.
too.
Yeah, he's on it.
Wellington put me on Dixon.
And before we close out the first half, bro, Kid Cudi just dropped a new album, 21 Savage. I think Action Bronson dropped a project.
Action
Which one?
Bro.
I think he did. I think Action Bronson dropped a project. Which one are you gonna be checking out first out of the? I feel like
Action.
I feel like Action Bronson for sure.
Yeah, Action. I'm gonna probably check out 21. I'm not huge, excuse me, a huge fan of Kid Cudi. I'm intrigued. What more can you say or do as an artist?
Mhm.
So I'll probably listen to that second, but 21 I probably would not listen to unless Wellington puts it on our music list and he forces me to listen to it. And I got a feeling he's gonna do that. So I am gonna listen to it, Wellington.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing this new movie, American Dream. He's got Childish Gambino in it. He's gonna be dropping it this July. So this was like the soundtrack. This was the
Okay.
soundtrack to the album. So the soundtrack that for the movie. And so it's I don't know, man. Like 21, he's had a this
It
past
ain't
year and a
on.
half is kind of
What you do?
kind of
Some
worked out good for him because he got the Draco sign, and then everybody was like, "Oh, let me start listening to 21 again." So I don't know. I have listened to some of it. I'm not going to say what I think about it yet, but
okay.
it's
I
21
think I
Savage.
saw a song pop up on my new Apple Music. Like they gives me new music
Yeah,
every week, and I think it popped up. I think I skipped it, so I had to, I had to go back and
he
listen
had
to the
Doja Cat
album.
on. He had Doja Cat on, so I know you're going to skip that song, but she killed it. She killed it. Um, Save looks so.
I just don't give certain people airways, bro.
I hear you.
Like I have a coworker. She was like, "Do you listen to Doja?" I was like, and I just did answer her. I just walked away. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna cap. I just walked away. She's like, "Savon." I was like, I don't listen to Doja Cat.
We're gonna take a quick break and be right back with our Maestro review.